complain. All my worries are over, riding on the gravy train. Left my troubles behind me, left them back in the rain. If you want me, you'll find me riding on the gravy train.
Although lately I'm a little worried about Bob. He's got a motorcycle, he's grown a beard, he's acquired horses, he's riding in this saltgrass trail in the rain and the cold. I mean, I think he's slipping.
Brother, I occupy a seat on the aisle.
I think it could be safely said that he's one of my best friends. Old Jim Rose and I are just like brothers. We're just like that. Oh, Bob? Bob Rose. Yeah, Bob and I are just like that.
There you go.
Don't need fare going there, 'cause your fare is a smile.
Bob and I were discussing some of the things that he did when he was first with Global in the early 60s, and he was talking about the Moho project. And I told him I was really familiar with the project, had read quite a bit about it. He was surprised by that, and I told him that we were always tested each week on what we read in the science section of the Weekly Reader. So I know Bob's old enough to retire.
His friends make hit and fun, but beyond the laughter, you'll find deep respect and tons of praise for the rise of GlobalSantaFe chairman Bob Rose to the very pinnacle of the energy industry.
He's a man with great energy.
Terribly competitive.
He likes the industry, and he likes the involvement with people.
He likes to win.
Everybody just loves to be with him and be around him. He's very invigorating.
And successful because of what contemporaries say his decisive leadership and uncompromising integrity. Rose has forged a lasting mark on an industry he helped shape for nearly 5 decades. There can be no doubt it's an industry that loves him.
You know, he's just like one of those people that's always been in the industry, and whenever someone would talk about people in the drilling business, and they'd say, oh, well, you know Bob Rose? I mean, they would light up.
When his hand is on the tiller, it seems to go just a little bit better.
The biggest stamp that Bob has given to the industry is a stamp of professionalism that this industry sorely lacked for a long time.
So he's one of those people that's just been a magic light in the industry forever.
And an industry he loves in return.
I still believe it's one of the finest professions that you could pursue.
Bob began his career with Wilson Industries in the early 1960s before joining Global Marine, spending 13 years on assignments that took him around the world. And Bob will tell you with a sparkle in his eye, even today, that he cut his corporate teeth on the Glomar II.
This is an industry that can take a great deal of pride in its accomplishments.
Accomplishments that continued shaping the industry after Bob joined the Diamond M team in 1979, becoming president and CEO in just 6 years. The benefits of industry consolidation became a passion as he transformed Diamond M, Otico, and Arethusa into what was at that time the world's largest deepwater driller, before later returning to Global Marine in 1998.
I remember the first day that I met him when he joined us, when he rejoined us. And I can remember saying to him, welcome home. And the people that were at the company at the time were not people that had worked with Bob when he was first with Global, for the most part. Him being an older employee.
Maybe a bit older, but certainly a lot wiser, because that homecoming came with the experience and vision necessary to forge Global Marine and Santa Fe Drilling into what is today an industry leader, with a state-of-the-art fleet of nearly 60 rigs, proudly serving customers across the globe.
And again, we've assembled a tremendous core of fine, qualified, good people and great assets.
But perhaps the most valued of all those assets is a long list of friends who sometimes sound a lot more like fans.
I never had 1 minute of trouble working for Bob. In fact, it was always very enjoyable. He's a great man to work for, so, you know, I would have no problem ever working for Bob Rose again.
He's made the drilling contractors much more efficient companies that are better prepared to meet the challenges that we operators throw at them every day.
He really is someone that you can trust, you can deal with straightforwardly, and you know that things are going to come out right.
The characteristic that stood out the most is integrity. Whatever Bob says, Bob means.
Well, I think he had the highest ethics of anyone in the industry, and I think by so many of the awards that he's recently received, the Pinnacle Award, I think just speaks volumes for Bob and who he is and how he is.
He's not only concerned about the internal workings of an organization, he also wants to know that the people that his company is working with and serving are pleased, and he develops good relationships with them.
It's all about attaining a command position without losing your humanity, being able to treat employees well, stakeholders well.
The kind of the twinkle in Bob's eye, you know, when he smiles and greets you, I mean, he's at it. I mean, he's really there. And, you know, there's nothing phony about Bob, for sure.
The business relationship leads you to a personal relationship very quick because he is a caring, giving, think about you kind of person.
When my husband died in 1989, I took over as the chairman of PHI, and Bob was just wonderfully caring and supportive of me, and it was a very scary place to be in. I was one of the few women in the oil and gas service industry. Right. And to have someone like that as your friend and mentor, it just doesn't get much better.
Every year he would come out and he would show me his latest shotgun. Always got to be smaller and fancier.
Like shooting quail with him better than anyone, and I particularly like it when he pulls out these little firecracker 410 shells that he likes to shoot.
And I know Bob Rose must be a very efficient executive, given the frequency and precision with which he shoots birds.
Who was a better shot, you or Bob? Oh, I was.
Well, I am, of course.
Without a doubt. No question about that.
He's good.
After being married for 44 years, it's clear that the man who found friends in the industry found his heart with his wife, Carolyn. Time away from the business often makes for family time with son Robert, his wife Susanna, and their grandchildren Blake and Tanner.
There's a tremendous amount of truth that behind every successful man there's a good lady, and that's certainly true in Bob's case. Carolyn is a very independent woman, and she's very supportive, a beautiful woman, great personality.
Fair to say that Bob and Carolyn really are the team that pulled all of this off?
There's no question about that.
As good as Bob is, I really think he married above himself, though.
And the most important thing is over the course of my career, I've had the pleasure and honor of being associated with some of the finest people in the world. I'd have to thank them for their support, thank them for helping me become what I have become and be where I am.
Yeah, you know, when you look back, 65 just seems like yesterday. And seeing Bob Rose then just seems like yesterday.
It just doesn't seem a goodbye as appropriate. I'm really looking forward to see what he's going to be doing. I mean, when you don't say goodbye to friends, you wish them well.
He's not going to ride off on the into the sunset either on his motorcycle or his horse, you know. He's going to be involved doing something or another.
Very few executives that have achieved things right off into the sunset. The bloom is not off the rose.